So going with the same question, what about self-doubt, where it goes even to gaslighting around experiences that we are having
Yeah.
during these deep meditative processes? Could you speak to how to let go of what we think we know while still honoring the relative truth?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I want to come into that doubt one because doubt's also really common in the spiritual life. I would say almost everybody's going to encounter it, and yet it's not talked about that much, at least really overtly. But doubt is a part of this, and self doubt. Everyone's going to bump into their own self doubt, around here. I remember when this was occurring for me, and I was bumping into certain doubts, and it's important for people to distinguish constructive doubt. So to inquiry, you're exercising a kind of doubt, like, is this true? I don't know. I'm doubting that maybe some of what I hold to be true isn't. There can be a real constructive kind of doubt that helps us get more clear and let go of things that aren't really serving us. And then there's a doubt that's kind of corrosive. And corrosive doubt is very different than this more constructive doubt that gets us to move into unknown territory. The other kind of doubt is more corrosive to our psyche. It's just like an innate doubt where you just um, where it's disempowering you. You can feel it. You can feel it in your body when certain kind of doubts can lead you into the unknown. It can bring a lot of energy. What we usually think of doubt, however, I think, at least in this culture, is something that makes you feel kind of disempowered and small. And when that happens, the thing that we rarely question is we rarely doubt our doubt. Because when we feel doubt, the doubt always, it feels so real, so true, so representing something that's really solid and true. When we start to question our doubt, like, it's the last thing that doubt doubts. Doubt rarely doubts itself. And yet it's so important to doubt, for our doubt to not only doubt us, but also to the doubt itself can focus on the doubt. And then it's something more powerful. But everybody's going to go through doubt. Everybody's going to go through doubt, and it's not comfortable. And yet it's an intimate part of all this. We have to walk our way through the difficult corners of our psyche and encounter it. And mostly you accept it. That's like, okay, there's doubt, and I feel disempowered, and I feel small, and recognizing that this is the corrosive version of doubt. This is the doubt that gets into the ego and disempowers you. And when you see that, then you can really target and go, okay, that's the corrosive doubt. That doubt isn't serving me. It's conditional, and recognizing or distinguishing that experience of doubt from the doubt that gets us to lean in, like, I could be wrong. That's a different form of doubt, though. But we'll encounter it all. We'll encounter it all. Yeah, I wouldn't even want to say anything that would make someone sort of being able to do an end run around their doubt, because we have to go right through the center of it. And I will admit that that's not comfortable when we're questioning ourselves right through the center of it, but because it will bring all these doubts and hesitations and often some amount of fear up. These are just part of the territory. Yeah.
So in going through the doubt, I'm just going to keep on this because there are many questions.
Yes.
When we go through the doubt, will it also clear out anything that could be an egoic drive, a reactivity, or an organismic survival instinct? Will all this get cleared out when we're going through it?
It can get cleared out. That's the whole point, of course, is to get it cleared out. But we can't clear out what we don't encounter. So we'll encounter the doubts, we'll encounter the fears, we'll encounter all those things that kind of just keep pulling back at the reins, when you're like, oh, I can't, that's a little too scary, that's a little too new, that makes me feel small, because doubt can make us feel small. Um, you see, as far as I'm seeing, there's no mature way to just like, here's what to do about doubt. It doesn't really work that way. I mean, you can do that, but then you kind of bypass things that are really important. Rather than that, is we can see our doubt as important. Like, I might be experiencing corrosive doubt that just no matter what I would see or realize would probably try to take it away. But I could also be experiencing some very constructive doubt that's very uncomfortable, but it can actually be really constructive because one's, questioning the very some sense of self on, life, others. And I mean, I can hear in the back, like in my ear, I can almost hear some, people are going like, yes, okay, Ajay, we got it. Now, what do we do about it? Right? And I understand that. Um, Let me answer that with a very quick little story. When I was a kid, not uncommon, I was having a reoccurring nightmare. And it was always the same image. I would be chased by some terrifying monster, and I would turn and run away from it as fast as I could. And at some point just before it was going to devour me, I'd wake up in a sweat and, breathing hard and all that. And this was a reoccurring dream. So over some weeks, and I was only about 10 or 12 years old. And then one day I got curious. This is the inquiry. Starts with curiosity. And I just literally thought, I wonder what would happen if when that monster chased me, if I just stopped, turned around, and looked directly at it. And next time in the middle of the dream, I kind of remembered that. I turned, I stopped, I turned, I looked directly at it. And as I'm looking at it, it just sort of just disappears. And that taught me something so important, that when I look at something, if I can find the courage to turn and just encounter it, not with bravado, but just turn, face, yes, I will encounter this. It's amazing how much power that takes away. So I would encourage anybody, we can feel when we're running from something internally, sort of metaphorically running from it. And sometimes are even wanting to strategize, like, what do I do with it? What do I do with it? What do I do with it? Is kind of a way of asking, how do I get away from it? Not always, but sometimes. But if we just turn and face it, I think that's one of the most powerful ways to begin to realize that by turning and facing, whether it's doubt or fear, whatever our scary monsters are, as long as we're running from our monsters are controlling us. And when we can stop and face the scary monsters inside of our psyches, and everybody has them, at least that begins the process of them not having so much power over us, is just to turn and face them. Because in the end, it's a psychological version of a scary monster, which I don't mean to diminish the experience, because it can be very intense at times, but nonetheless, right? There's nothing out there that's at least when we're doing this kind of work, it's internal. So we have to be able to turn and face things. And that's part of what meditation helps us to do too. We realize, oh, I don't have to run from everything that feels uncomfortable, or I don't even have to find a strategy to deal with everything that's uncomfortable. I can just experience the uncomfortability of it. And strangely, that makes the whole experience far less uncomfortable. So these are just beginnings, because each person, each case is unique to itself. So I want to respect the integrity of each person's very, very unique experience of all this, because I can talk in the generalities, but each person's experience of how that unfolds is unique to them. Yeah.